I really got into radio by listening to it as a young kid. Around 7 is when I got my first transistor radio. Used to listen to Yankee games all the time, and music, rock and roll radio. And just listening to radio, I fell in love with the idea of talking to someone that wasn't in the room, that was very far away, and they were saying things that were very important to me that I really connected to. And I also felt that when I was listening, other people were listening at the same time, and I liked that idea of people tuning in together to hear something, and that just kind of grew on me. I think something else that happened is that when I was young, my dad taught me how to build radio kits. So I learned about building radios, shortwave radio, and I think the experience with the technology of how radio works got me involved in a kind of a different way than just as a listener. And putting the two together really opened the door for me in a big way to think about radio as a possible, way to work. What got me into radio as a possible career happened in high school. I was in high school, and some of my friends that were seniors worked at a local station in town. It was an FM station. This was in the late 60s when FM radio was all the rage. And I got to go to the station and hang out and do errands and work part-time on the weekends and open the mail and fix broken wires. Basically, I was allowed to hang around the station and not get thrown out. And just being there, seeing everybody, seeing what the jobs were like, and seeing how the audience responded to the DJs got me really interested in doing this as a career. So I think, when I was 16, I went to the FCC in New York City and took my FCC exam, which they don't do anymore. You used to have to pass an FCC exam to get a license to go on the air, and that was a turning point for me when I was 16. I think what got me into teaching was attending Syracuse University and working at their radio station in the communications department and seeing what the faculty did, seeing how they taught the technology, how they taught programming and sales and management, and seeing the teaching role and seeing how my peers responded and how they all found different ways to go into the field got me thinking about living in two worlds. I love the environment of a station. I feel like it's always in the trenches where the action is. I love the environment, but I really love to also share that tradition. And broadcasting is a trade, and it really needs a future through new people coming up the way I did. And part of my teaching interest has to do with helping the field find good new people, because there's never a shortage of good people in media. There's tons of people that want to get involved, but people who are talented and really good are always in need. And I think that's a way to kind of protect the future of the profession. And then personally, I love the teaching process, and I've learned more than I ever dreamed from teaching students because of their questions, when they challenge me, when I have to go over a syllabus and keep it fresh every year so it's not the same thing I was teaching 10 years ago. And so updating the information and getting the reaction from the students is what's kept me teaching for 26 years part-time. I really enjoy the whole process. I've taught 5 courses over 26 years, but primarily I teach 2. There's an Intro to Radio course, COM 241, which is an introduction to the industry, a little history, current trends in the industry. And then the other course, COM 245, is digital audio production. That's all based on Adobe Audition software and digital recording and editing and mixing. And so you have a very heavy technology course and kind of an industry survey course. And those are my 2 main courses. So by doing that, I keep everything fresh for me. I'm always updating my content because the industry is going through so many changes at such a high rate today as well, that keeping it current for new students who are thinking about work in the field helps me to keep on my toes. And the other thing is that I try to incorporate a simple philosophy in all the classes, and that is, if you love it, you'll find your way. Don't worry about the money. People are so focused today on their salary level starting out that they forget that you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. And it isn't a cliche, it's true. And if you love what you do, that is a gift from the universe that you can find something that you really enjoy, whatever it is. And I think it's one of the best things my dad and my mom ever encouraged me, is to just find out what you like to do if you had free time. What would you do for fun? And then figure out how to get paid to do it. And that's a great piece of advice that I've lived with my whole life.